Yo everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to my games during week 21 of the GeoGuessr World League. It was the final week and therefore I guess the most important week for the overall standings. And I was only against Fau. I was supposed to be against, I think it was Deb or Rix, but both of them dropped out of the World League, so I only had one game, which I guess is nice to only have one game on the last week. I guess it's like less pressure because your last week has less impact on the standings, I guess, even though, it's still important. And in my head, I needed 1 point to be happy with, like, where I finished in the World League. I mean, I was already happy with where I was before playing this game, but, like, 1 point, I would be like, I couldn't have hoped for better, really. Um, and yeah, that's because I was on the 78 points, which was the same as MK. So if I got +1, I would be guaranteed ahead of MK, even if someone made us a three-way tiebreak. Because like if me and MK were on 78, I had the head-to-head win, so I was above him. But if someone else got, let's say they were on 63 points and got +15, then they'd also be on 78 after the majors. So then, I might have lost out to MK in the three-way tiebreak. I'm not too sure. Not really sure how the three-way tiebreak would have went down, but yeah. And then also I was like the morning like games before like my game. Strefan was like absolutely cooking. Captain was absolutely cooking. Like the last few weeks, like the two people who were like closest to catching me were just like playing insane. It was actually crazy. Like Strefan, I think 2-0 just actually. I guess we can look briefly at their games because like they just absolutely cooked. Like we look at Strefan, it's just like he's just 2-0ing everybody. Like and he's 2-1ing rather than contests. Like so I was very scared coming into the last few weeks of how well Strefan was playing. But maybe a mild spoiler here, but I'm sure you've all seen the standings. But my goal was to end 6 points ahead of Strefan and Captain and everyone else in Europe, just so that the 5 points gained from getting fourth in the major couldn't negatively impact me. Because let's say I was on 77 points, then Strefan gets 5, he's on to 78. So it's basically just an extra safety net of an extra person passing me out the major or not, if you get me. But yeah, so I was going for 1 point. I was feeling a little bit sick going into the game and a little bit tired. So I was like moving. I probably won't be too locked in for it because it requires the most concentration. Parnu I knew was a place. I didn't realize that Parnu, like the second thing on the sign, was also a place, but I zoomed into Parnu and then immediately saw it, and yeah, he insta-sent the town, but I lined up the 5K. Always nice to get the 5K. It's a good confidence booster. Good to get momentum, but doesn't really matter too much, I would say. Then this, we have a sign here, and on the other side of this, it says the region in the bottom left, which is Los Rios, which I completely forgot there it was, but yeah, I scan region borders eventually and find it, and then I need to look for Mariquina, which is clearly on my screen here, but I'm looking for Mariquina and not San Jose de Mariquina for some reason, but yeah, I switched to it with like 1 second left, which was, it would have been like 100 points or something, so didn't really matter, but yeah, it was nice to keep the flawless. Then the next round was an urban Columbia round. I assumed it would be just Bogota, but I was a little bit concerned, like it felt like a massive city, and just like this kind of architecture felt very, you know, big city vibes. But yeah, I was like, may as well look for like taxis and stuff and trucks, and I found Madrid on that, which is one of the Bogota suburbs. If I was just trying to 5K, but I was just trying to make sure that it was Bogota by trying to check as many like trucks and stuff as possible. Because like one truck with like a Bogota reg is like not as trustworthy because it's like the capital, right? So it's like, and I just start lining up if it could be Madrid itself. But yeah, probably should have left it in Bogota, but I hedged between Madrid and Bogota, and I guess the 5K there. So we both have 1 5K so far this duel. The next round was an urban Spain round. I'm actually curious as to what he got on this round. Um, because I did not. Is he just scanning for? I guess he just insta scans for the place we had. But I don't think it was a big enough place to scan for. So I'd try and get out of the town and look for road numbers. And he is doing the same, it appears, or maybe going a slightly different way. I wait. What did he do there? Wait. Oh, he saw. I didn't see the road number when I was leaving the town, or maybe I didn't. Did I see that and just miss it? Or did we go different ways out of the town? I'm confused. Yeah, so I think I just passed a road. Yeah, I didn't see it. Okay, that's kind of unfortunate. um, yeah, but he did see it, unfortunately, for me. I was like, yeah, I'm wondering what he saw, because, like, I don't know how he found the place name, but, yeah, yeah, he sees it there, but I did not see it. And then, yeah, I assume it said, Aragon, or whatever, on the road number, whatever letter it is, I don't see, but, yeah, I just have exits for, 150 meters, but, I got the North 5 at least, but, yeah, nice play from Fowler spotting the thing that I did not spot. I probably should have been able, like, I don't know, I just didn't see it, but it was definitely good attention to detail from him to see that. Then we get another urban Columbia round. Yeah, he gets a taxi instantly. I think there's something on that, but I just can't read it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Wait, is that like? Let's see. I want to see what he did. So does he go south? Okay, and then a taxi just appears. But you can't see the taxi if you just don't move, so it's a bit like, I don't know. I feel like urban moving is a little bit orangey sometimes, but yeah, because like I have like something that should in theory have a plate, but the plate is blurred. And then the other thing on it isn't readable. And I probably would have known like Quadibo, what's it called? I forget the city. What's the name of it? Doesn't show there, but he does win the duel. Barely off of that, unfortunately. What's the place? Quibdo, or Quibdo, yeah. But I knew going into it, if I was a pretty good moving player, I think my comparative advantage is a no move. I think we're about similar skill level in moving, but I think no move, I probably have a slight edge. So I was like, okay, this is the game. I'm also feeling tired, so moving isn't going to go as well as no move. Liked to see the Ireland to start off with. Instantly into Ireland. We have this like a spring coverage with the old Gen 4 cam, which you get a lot around the label, most commonly in Max North Tipperary, where I clicked. Although maybe I didn't see the Max North Tipperary hills, so I shouldn't have sent where I sent, but it's basically across the border from Max North Tipperary. So, yeah, nice start to the duel to get Ireland, but it's never going to be any points, unless he went UK or something. But, yeah, we have a bridge here that I attempted to scan for soon, but I'm checking copyright, and I'm region guessing, and I assume it's the Amazonas main highway, but I think it's Belém, which is definitely a consideration. And I just like look at the angle and I'm like, okay, it kind of lines up, like surely I can find the bridge. Cause I'm seeing, like I can't see it on this, but like you do see a lot of bridges when you actually zoom into the map. So if we go in here, we can see like bridges, but some of them have similar names to like, like the IG is like the bridge thing basically. But I end up not finding it. He sends in Belém, I send Amazonas. I nearly get it, but was a bit unfortunate that this was round 2, because any other round, I mean other than round 1 of course, but any later in the duel, and I just win it there. So I was going to be so annoyed if I lost this duel, because like I need 1 point from this duel, and any other round, and I win the no move based off of that alone. Which was very unfortunate. Then this round, Indonesia, as you're all aware, probably one of my worst countries, definitely my worst big country in GeoGuessr. I almost considered sending the Java C, which might have won me the game, maybe. Because I was scared of Sulawesi, but we both go inside Sumatra there. And no points, but builds multis, which I don't really like to do, of course. Then we get a Brazil round. I figured it was northeast. We had wind turbines, which I felt like fit northeast kind of nicely, and then the fence also fit northeast. My immediate thought was Sergipe or something, but the more I looked, I was like, doesn't feel too coastal. Maybe I'm going to move into Bahia. Didn't see any like Bahia stickers on the poles, but it was kind of hard to make them out. But yeah, we're both just thinking northeast. We're in similar areas at the moment, but if one of us 5Ks, I mean, I could win the duel, but he probably can't win the duel on this round because it's going to be northeast, and yeah, you get me. But yeah, he moves up to Sierra. I move across the board to Bahia. If I move slightly, if I click Favor de Santana, I think I win. But I just like left it a little bit too close to Sergipe. But it's so close. Like if I lost at this point, I was actually just gonna like I was not gonna sleep tonight. But yeah, next round, Europe round. I wasn't sure if it could be Poland or Baltics, but I was like, the Poles probably aren't Poland. I thought it looked like Lithuania, but yeah, I was like. My dilemma here was, do I click Latvia to hedge Estonia, or do I click Lithuania to hedge for Poland? And I was like, I just need to not lose on this round. Like, I've got the HP advantage, I'm just going to play it completely safe, but if I click Latvia, I might have won there, but yeah, bit unfortunate. Maybe hedging for Poland is trouble with the Poles, but it's fine. Then an Argentina round, my immediate thought here was nuke win. As you can see, I instantly click in South nuke win. And I'm just thinking, like, what is this mountain? Where in Newquin does this make sense for? And then I'm like, okay, I'm moving down. There's no, I didn't think it made sense for anything in Western Chubut. I feel like I know most of the roads there. There's a bunch of random roads in Western Santa Cruz that are like all overcast, wintry coverage like this. So I was thinking like, okay, maybe it's one of those. But yeah, I think throughout the Montezemales road, and I just leave it there because it's like a fine hedge in northern Santa Cruz. But yeah, he goes southern Chubut. And it is Nuquin, but I mean, I basically clicked the. Actually, no, I clicked Southern Nuquin at the start. Northern Nuquin, but definitely an opportunity to win there. Was very annoyed at myself. And then we get Philippines, which, as you're also aware, is one of my least favorite countries in GeoGuessr. I'm looking at the trees, they look southern, like Mindanao trees, but wasn't certain. I was terrified that it was more north. And at this point, like, I'm like coming to terms in my head, like, okay, this duel is over. I'm not winning. I'm cursed. It's 200 HP. It's like, after like a certain point, it's like, I don't know, it just feels Jover. Like the GeoGuessr gods aren't in my favor or whatever. But yeah, I leave it in Mindanao. I leave it towards this mountain range here, because it's kind of hilly, but I ended up getting an insane guess, and that wins me the game, and I'm so happy. I've never been so happy to win a no-move duel in my life. Yeah, got my 1 point, that's all I needed. And then my brain proceeds to shut off for the NPC game, but I was happy enough to get the no-move win that it didn't matter after that. But yeah, into the NPC anyway. You know, may as well try and win it. The win doesn't matter too much to me, but it matters to Pau, I think. So, yeah. Just into Central Taiwan. But I went a little bit south, but, you know, it's only 200 points. Kind of surprised it's that far north, but, yeah, I don't know. Mountains of Taiwan are kind of tricky. Then we get a Thailand round. I didn't think the insulators were the southern kind, but we had, like, oil palms, so I was like, okay, it's probably somewhat south. But yeah, maybe the insulators were, but my brain was not completely on. But yeah, he goes Surathani. I go in Chumphon, I think it's called. And it was Surathani, but yeah, it's not too many points, it's only 1,000. So that was fine. And then we get into another round, and it's like, I thought it looked like Norway, but we don't have what's it called? A green plate on the van. We can like ever so slightly see the white plate at the bottom, and you'd think a commercial vehicle, or what looks like a commercial vehicle in Norway, would have a green plate. But it definitely looked like Norway. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave it somewhere in the western part of the country. Yeah. Maybe, I mean, my hedge isn't too good for Sweden, but you know, I was lucky hedging for Norway, because like, I guess it kind of troll. But it looked so Norwegian that I was willing to send border. And yeah, it was a bit further north. It was like in the western part towards Norway, so I feel like my vibe was decent. Good 800 points. Could have been a lot more if I went further north, but yeah. Then the next round was Russia. I don't even look at the location. I just instantly zoom into this road down here, in Cherkassk. But for some reason, I didn't even consider what's it called, like Dagestan, where Pau is currently scanning. I was just fully into Cherkassk with the mountain to the west. Which I don't know, like it just looks like this stuff, but I don't know. Maybe I'm trolling. But yeah, I'm not beating the throwing for Pau allegations, even though I don't know. I was so confident. Like I literally thought I 5K. Like we were about to cross the river, and then I'm just like, yeah, 4,200 points. I don't know what I'm doing there, but yeah, duel wasn't over yet, but not my best Russia guess. I instantly zoom into Ecuador here, but I was considering if it could be Mexico or if it could be Colombia, or as you're about to see soon, I consider if it could be the Philippines. Like the pavement just confused me, because like the pavement didn't look Latin American at all to me. For some reason, like the gusher, like the not gusher, but the what's the word? The curb, that's the word. Like almost looked Southeast Asian. And yeah, if I was looking at Philippines as well, I'm also looking at Philippines, but he switches back to Guatemala. I'm currently in Ecuador, so this will of course be game. And yeah, it ends up not being Guatemala, but it ends up being Chiapas. so he gets the win. So yeah, the Russia round didn't really matter because 10,000 damage is of course going to end the duel. Mexico maybe makes sense with the pavement being a bit weird, but like it's a tricky round for sure. But yeah, nice Guatemala, I guess, for him to get up to pick up the win, not get up the win, get the win or pick up the win. But yeah, GG's to Fau. He got 2 points, I got 1 point, but as I said, all I needed was the 1 points because if we go to the standings here, I end off at 5th, which is 4th in EMEA, and we have the 5-point cushion that I was talking about above Stefan and captain, because if we go to, where is it here, I think, and if we go to EMEA majors, we have 4th, 5 points, but yeah, that cannot negatively impact me now. So only 3 people can pass me out from each major, which is definitely nice because, as you can see, this 14, 25, 15, I will cover that in the spreadsheets at the end with some speculation of what can happen at the majors, as well as like, where I would end up with certain scenarios. But before we look at that, we need to look at a few spreadsheets done by Funnier04. I think he sent them into, or they've sent them into the Plunkett server into the World Cup channel, I think. So if you want to look at them there, you can, or else, the link is here if you want to manually type this out. But yeah, I've made some copies of the spreadsheets. Actually, I should probably look at this one first, which is just match win rate, round win rate, average first guess percentage. So not, makes sense for me to not be, guessing the fastest, because like I like to line things up a lot and I like to take my time in general compared to, some other players. Like if we, for example, take Oscar with 66% or MK with 84%, which is like actually insane to think about. I think Lero would be pretty high as well, 67. But yeah, and then like Blinky, I think would be kind of low, but Blinky sends the 5k, so I guess his isn't too low. When he just sends the 5k in about 3 seconds. So yeah, and then Contest likes to take his time. So yeah, you can go through all these yourselves, but yeah, I think it's quite interesting that I am at 38.97. What's Blinky's actually average? We got the exact same average first guess time, but yeah, if we look at average rounds, 4,500 moving, 4,100 no move, 3,800 NPC. We will see in a spreadsheet after this one that it's a bit weird. Like it's kind of a crazy like I don't know. Maybe I'm misinterpreting the data, but yeah, I'll show it now. Which spreadsheet was it? I think it's this one. Okay, so if we look at this is average guess rank. So or wait, no, I want to look at this. Yeah, so average guess in no move, and let's sort this by highest slow. So contest number 1: Blinky, Radu, Sheena, Karania, Dev, Trickter, Kent, MK, Harrier, Stefan, Leros, Oscar, me. So I'm at 4158, right? But if we go to performance rank, and we go to this, I have the 5th best no move performance, but I am, what was that, like 12th or something in the average guess rank. Wait, where was I? I was 14th. So I think what this means is that my rounds were just hard, or else both of us threw the round for some reason. Like, it's very weird to go from 14 to 5 based off of that, because like, my 4158 average, like there's so many people with above me and the thing, like, but I got up to 5th in terms of like actual performance rank, which is weird, because if we look at this is the average damage you do on a no move round, and I'm on 213, but Sheena, who was I think 4th or 5th in the other thing, is at 205, which is like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy that like my rounds seem to be so hard for some reason, or else that we both just throw, which is kind of interesting to think about. Yeah, I don't know, it's very odd that that's happened, but yeah, 213 positive on the no move, which is quite nice. And if we look at these stuff, it's like the overall performance and stuff. So I guess actually I was already sorted by that, wasn't I? But yeah, I got 5th in no move performance, 11th in moving, and 18th in NPC, which gives me an overall of 6. I don't know how the overall works out at that, but yeah, I guess average 2, 1, 3, 5, 11. Yeah, so Strefon, to be fair with Strefon's, it's like his NPC is very good compared to my NPC. But you play NPC less than no move and moving, so his overall performance is better than mine. But in the current format, where NPC isn't played every time, I will outperform him in the league, if you get me. Even though his performance is technically better, mine is better across moving and no move, so it's like, you get what I'm saying. Well, his is better in moving, but my no move is better. You get me. But it's just interesting that you can like see that Strefan's NPC performance brings him up so much, which is very impressive. And I guess you could maybe see similar with some other players. I don't try to see any standout NPC. Actually, let's just sort by NPC and let's look for any standouts. So if we look at players here, Pan is 9th in NPC. That's kind of crazy. Or 7th. Wait, yeah, because 9th is which is a very big step up. Yeah, that's that's very impressive from Pan there. We'll definitely be excited to see him at the majors playing NPC in the best of fives. Because yeah, 7th is kind of crazy. And then there was one very noteworthy thing. It's Krania's overall performance is like so unlucky. He's got the 12th best overall performance, with the 8th no move and 25th moving, but his placement in the league was like 30th or something, right? Let me go back to this. APAC, he is 29th, yeah. So it's like, I think he just got multi-merchanted is what this means, which is very unfortunate for Krania. And he missed out by 1 point, which would have been a crazy 3-way tiebreaker if we look at this here. So if he gets, or wait, no, if Spaghetti didn't get 1 point, it would be a 3-way tiebreaker with them for the, APAC. I think Krania wins the tiebreaker, I'm not too certain. But yeah, definitely unfortunate for Krania there, but I mean, Spaghetti's of course a very strong player as well. And locking in with multipliers is like, some people use it as a cope, but yeah, I don't know what happened there. Bit unfortunate. And then if we look, what else is interesting? I mean, like, I don't know, Blinky's 4.7k and moving is insane. And then, yeah, I think my NPC, I'm happy with where my NPC is, but like, I think my moving, honestly, I could do better in. Like my moving performance is, it's, what's it, 11th, I guess, which definitely could be better. Like, yeah, it's like, I feel like I have the potential, but I don't know, I just feel like I haven't been playing the moving games too optimally. Like, I sometimes don't look around enough at spawn and then miss directions, or like miss which direction to go, or else I'm just like, my brain isn't working and I miss the Spain sign like he saw in the FOW game. So definitely something I will work on for the majors, because the majors are best of 5, so moving is even more important because there's 2 moving games instead of 1. And what else do I have to say about this sheet? I think that's everything for this sheet. And we'll get on to the next sheet, because there are a lot of them. Is this the one? I think this is the one I want to look at next. So this is the country distributions of the league. So USA number 1 makes sense. Brazil, Indonesia, Australia, Russia. Don't know how I feel about Russia being 5th. Like, it could be, 2nd or something. But, I mean, I guess Brazil, what would I think is fair? I guess to be fair, like, they're very close to similar, and there's a chance that, due to sampling size, Russia is actually higher in the map than Indonesia. But it looks like these 3 are about the same. Or even these 5, I guess. And then there's Japan's at 393. Wait, no, that can't be happening. Wait, what? Wait, no, that's insane. Bro, what? How is... Okay, Japan is higher than Argentina, India. Okay, I don't understand. I mean, I guess they don't want to put India in moving or something, but like, I don't know. That's insane to me that Japan is that high, because no move Japan is like either you both know the poll and you 5k, or else it's like complete slot machine with it being very hard to live guess. And then moving Japan as well is just like find a poll. I mean, I did learn the prefecture kanji, so I don't just look for polls now, but it's I don't know, 393. Okay, maybe I have to practice my Japan going into the major. Like, you can garner some stuff about this for sure, where like you want to like look at what to focus on based off of what the developers think is important. I guess, because like there's some like standout things. Like, I don't know, Sweden seems a bit high maybe, but the developers are Swedish, so maybe that's why. Yeah, and then like thinking of like my bad countries, Philippines. I mean, I guess Philippines deserves to be that high, but Philippines and Indo is a scary amount for me. And then Thailand's high, but I mean, I don't know, just remove Thailand from GeoGuessr, please. Turkey, I've done some practice on that recently. I definitely need to work on Germany. It's up there a lot. Although, is France not bigger than Germany? And with higher coverage density? Am I missing something? I swear France is bigger, but maybe France is bigger only when you include like French Guiana and stuff. But I swear France is bigger. Anyway, I mean Colombia is definitely bigger, but lower coverage density and stuff. But yeah, definitely need to work on Germany. And then also fun data is we can look at the easiest countries. So Sao Tome, Northern Mariana Islands, USVI, Singapore, Malta makes a lot of sense to be the easiest countries. And then they would also have low moving damage numbers. But if we look at the hardest countries, Greenland makes sense in moving. Russia, 1,000. India, 1,000 points drops. 800. Like, yeah, these are probably the countries where you can make up the most points by being good at, I suppose. And I guess we can look at damage here as well. Not sure what happened here. I guess there was a Pakistan trekker that somebody missed. I guess someone might have went like New Delhi on like Islamabad or not Islamabad on like Lahore trekker or something and lost 1,000 points. I think me and Harrier was the Madagascar round. There's only been one. Yeah, I think me and Harrier had that. Which is kind of funny to think about. Coco's, I guess someone. I guess Christmas Island made them lose 2,000 points. Is that fair enough away or must? I don't know. Maybe they forgot to get no, but I don't know. I don't know why 2,000 damage happened in Coco's. If anyone knows what game that was, please let me know. I suppose. I guess we can look at no moving damage. But yeah, I definitely need to work on Greenland. But it's like so rare that it's like Russia moving damage makes a lot of sense like to learn because 508 rounds, 700 damage is by far the most impactful. I guess USA is close behind. I guess the USA is probably slightly more important. I definitely do need to learn phone codes. But if we look at no move, which should be interesting. Wait. What's happened here? What does China mean? Wait. Wait. Huh? Wait. Was there like a Macau lock or something and they got counted? Because I saw Hong Kong when I was looking at this list earlier. I'm a bit confused. I swear Hong Kong is somewhere on this, though. Am I trolling? I don't know, maybe... Hong Kong is here, yeah. I saw there was a Lero versus Strephon Hong Kong incident, which explains why that damage is a little bit high. Or maybe that was NPC, I'm not even sure. But China... I'm confused by what China is, if I'm being honest. But there's a Puerto Rico... Wait. Is this data correct? Wait, how is Puerto Rico there? I guess maybe one person went to NMI or Guam, and then that skewed it up so much. Yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? At Luxembourg, I guess people missed the country, and then Russia, Canada, Mexico, Indonesia, Australia, Brazil, Kazakhstan. Makes sense. USA being a bit lower, but it's so frequent that you definitely do need to learn it. And then NPZ damage. It's kind of interesting that yeah, I feel like I guess because you can go Brazil or something on NPC Mexico, that it goes like way above Russia, becoming the number one, and then Kazakhstan without Karmeta, Russia without Karmeta goes up. But like the USA, it kind of proves that there's not much Karmeta to the US, I suppose, because the no move versus NPC doesn't make it skyrocket like Russia does or Kazakhstan does, which is an interesting thing to note. And then there's some outliers here. I remember Consus had a Taiwan lock that someone missed. I know I missed a no move Taiwan lock against Oscar as well, so that would skew up the damage a bit. And then yeah, usual suspects. Finland, I guess. Maybe someone won Canada. I think that did happen, right? I'm trying to remember who that was. Was it one of my games? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, Pruhai, Malaysia, India, Lithuania. I guess there might have been a Russia incident or something. That skews up the average, but yeah, a lot of interesting thoughts there. Definitely something that I will probably study a little bit to know what kind of countries to practice, I suppose. And also look at my individual data, but currently the spreadsheets for that are not updated, so I'm not looking at that for the video, but maybe I'll do a video on it soon enough. What else do I have to say about this? I think that's everything for the most part. I mean, what's the least damaging countries? I mean, I think I already looked at that, but is there any surprising ones? No, it's just all small countries, right? Yeah. I mean, what are the outliers at the top? Yeah, I guess we already looked at that, yeah. I guess that's that, and then there's I think I looked at all the spreadsheets, right? Because this spreadsheet is just this spreadsheet, but 2.0, I think, if I recall correctly. But yeah, I mean, I guess it has the colors so you can see things. And also you can look at moving medium versus moving average, and you can kind of see actually let me sort by Let me just get it to like that or something. And then, yeah, like Blinky's moving median, 4.92. That is just crazy. But yeah, you can see, I guess you can judge consistency with this by seeing how much, it goes up, like your average versus your median, to judge consistency. But I guess NMPC, let's look at that maybe. So yeah, you can kind of see bigger jumps between people's NMPC averages and their medians because the map is diabolical. Yeah, I think that's everything I need to say though. But yeah, you can look at these spreadsheets for individual players if you so wish. But I will get onto my own spreadsheets now. Yeah, this video is gonna be a long one. Of just yap. But yeah, as you can see here, I have the all players points per game. Games is an interesting stat. So this is because Dev and Rix dropped out. Some players played them, i.e. Ocean Man and Malfunction played both of them, but everyone else is who didn't play them is at 37 or 38 if you played one of them. And then there's a few 36s where they didn't show up to a game or their opponent didn't show up to a game, which then caused them to have 36 games when combined with Dev and Rix. I think the no-show-ups were Swan Gambit versus B89, Swan Gambit versus Sheena, and Fly Me versus Sheena, if I recall correctly. And then a lot of us on 37. Me and Deborah maybe getting a little bit lucky with our 37s being towards the top, with our 37s. Because if you think about it, for example, if I had to play Deborah or Rix, right? Because MK is 1 point behind me, so in a actually, let's just check what MK got against Deborah or Rix out of curiosity. So, okay, wait, he 2-0 Dev. Okay, so never mind. But if he didn't, let's say he didn't, there could have been a big change in points. I mean, there's certainly, scenarios where that happened. But it does lead to the question of, was what they did right, where they gave everyone that hadn't played them 3 points? Because it definitely did change the standings. I don't want to point out, some specifics, but maybe you can see them. Where some people might have made it to the major or might not have made it to the major, depending on 3 points given due to 3-0s and such. Which is definitely something to look at for the next league, if they do a next league. I mean, I'll give thoughts about the league after the strategies at the end. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff to think about for that. Yeah, you can also see some interesting stats here about wins. So you might see some standouts, and I think what kind of determines if there's a standout, because let's say the standouts here are 24, 25, Lero Lenley, when there's 21s, 23s above them. And that's because they've got really high NPC win rates, I think. Which basically, if you look at this, so this is the number of 0-point games you got, number of 1-point games you got, number of 2-point games, number of 3-point games, if you get me. Okay, I probably just made a cut there, but we are back. As I was saying, 0-point, 1-point, 2-point, 3-point games, so number of 2-0s, number of 2-1s, number of 1-2s, number of 0-2s. And yeah, that can kind of lead to the whole wins thing being a bit out of order, which there's some argument to be had that each win should be counted the same, or else NMPZ should be played every time, which I think I would be in favor of NMPZ being played every time for the league, because it could definitely affect the standings a little bit. Lenley Lero would probably go up a little bit if NMPZ was played every time, because they basically never lose NMPZ games. Because, as you can see, 3-13 is, his NMPZ win rate, and 6-13 as well is pretty good. But, let's say, I think Lenley's NMPZ win rate is, 80-something, if I recall. So 82.4, yeah. So, if, let's say, we took Lenley's 0-2 losses, which there was 11 of, and we give him an 80% NMPZ win rate in a scenario where all the games are played, then suddenly he gets 8 more points from these 11 games where he got 0 points. And then suddenly he's up to 72. It's of course everyone would go up, but some players would go up more than others. I think Zigzag, Lenley, Lero, etc., the more NPC-oriented players would be, benefit the most. And that could definitely, change the standings or whatever, which would be, yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think for the next league, I would probably prefer if they did that. And I think a lot of people would, because it gives, it's nice to... It's a bit unfair, I should say, to have, NPC not played all the time. It's kind of seen as like the penalty kicks of GeoGuessr, which I don't know if that's like, I think it's fine for best of five, but for a league, it's like, you know, it's a bit questionable. I feel like NPC would be nice to have. It would definitely change the standings a lot. And yeah, I mean, if we look at like my number of like, oh, 2 losses, it's not that high, so it wouldn't affect me that much. But as you go down the list, it's like people with high NPC win rates could go up, if you get me. What else is there to say about this sheet? I mean, yeah, win percentages are here based off of the games and not like the total games. It's not out of 39, it's out of 38, 37, etc., etc. So Blinky 92, kind of crazy. But I got to 73 basically, so I will take it. And then yeah, just over 2 points per game, which I'm very happy with. MK's got the nice and clean 2.0000 recurring, which is nice. He was the only person to end on a like, integer, I suppose. What else is there to say? Well, we have this tab, which is very important. So the points you can get from the majors are +5, +15, +25, +40, as we said. 40 for first, 25 for second, 15 for third, and 5 for fourth in EMEA only. So what this table shows is where you would be placed if you got this points from your major and no one else got points. So obviously, if Blinky gets any amount of points, he is still first because, he's first. But Consist would need a +15 to pass out Blinky, and then I would need a +25 to pass out Blinky, etc., etc. But what this shows is like where each player kind of needs to be safe, I guess. So I think, because currently I feel kind of safe being in fifth, as I will show later on with the worst case, best case, etc. scenarios that I have at the bottom. So I think a lot of people who get 5 are like, I think that's like a good place to be, because 5 for me I feel good about. So I think 5 for other people they would also feel good about. So for most people it's a +15 will get them 5, which is definitely achievable. And then some people it's 25, and everyone has a top 3 guarantee with +40, which is very nice because top 3 100% guarantees you to the World Cup. So everyone's got something to play for. You can't get first place in the major and then not make the World Cup, which is very nice. I think that's nice the way it worked out. It wasn't guaranteed to work out like that, but it just so happened to, which is quite nice. Because if, let's say, Orlando gets 40 points, he's up to 89, which puts him in third, as I said. But then only 10 people can get points from majors, and he got one of them, so then only 9 more people can get points, and then you can only go from 3 + 9 to 12. So that is how he would be guaranteed. But for me, as you can see, +5 doesn't really do anything for me. I go from 5th to 4th, tied with Debray, but I do have the head-to-head over Debray. We don't know what the head-to-head actually is just yet, for like the major versus the league or whatever. So I don't know. We'll see, but there's some scenarios where it could matter. Another one is Lenley getting +15 and landing on the same as me currently. He beat me in the World League, but does me doing better in the World League make me win the tiebreak, or does him beating me in the head-to-head, even though we weren't tied in the, you get me. A lot of stuff to look at there. But I think this is a very interesting column. And there's a lot of number ones. So +40 is definitely a lot of points. I guess I will look at the me section now. Which is how many points. I don't know why I've done this with the spreadsheet, but I've done a lot. Okay, anyway, this is like, it's basically green if that number of points gives that player not enough to pass me out. So it's like, these are all under 79, which is what I was meaning by my 5-point safety cushion, that everyone that gets 5 points cannot pass me. Also, I've removed Debray, Blinky, Radu, Contis because they're above me from the list. And then this is just the major players. No one can get above me from a +5. And then this is the +15. This is the Lenley tie, as I was saying. So in theory, what's best for me is hypothetically that Fau gets third in Americas, Pan gets third in Europe, Eamon gets third in APAC, for example. Because that means their points going to people that don't pass me. But let's say, Kratsu instead gets 15 from Europe, then that's an extra person that passes me compared to if Pan did it, if that makes sense. And then everyone passes me if they get 40, obviously, because 40 is a lot of points. But that 3 people that get 25 don't pass me. which it's, if that does happen, it's very nice that they don't pass me, but it's not, I guess, yeah, it's like, it's, they don't have the easiest seeding for getting 25 because they're towards the bottom of their majors, if you get me. And as speaking of seeding, if we look here, this is my thoughts as to what the seeding is going to be. A little bit messy. I probably should have done this on like a bracket making website instead of quickly doing it on Excel. But yeah, semi-finals, MK and Rowdy would get a bye in Americas, and then Moo and Orlando would play versus, like the winner would play versus MK, and then the winner of Fao and Gingy would play versus Rowdy. And the way this works is if you go to Americas here, so top two get a bye. Moo plays Orlando to go against MK, and Fao and Gingy play to go against Rowdy. And then with APAC, it's the same. I'll just show you on this, I suppose. Where we have Eamon versus Fenep to go against Sheena, Leo versus Spaghetti to go against Oscar, and then, winners versus winners, and then losers go into the third place game for the 15 points. And yeah, so it basically means if you're Sheena or Oscar, you need to win one of your two best of fives, either, the semifinals, because then you get 25 or 40 points, or else you need to lose the first one and then win the second one to get 15. Because as we saw here, if they get 15, let's say Sheena or Oscar, they're up to fourth, and fourth will basically guarantee that they get to the World Cup. So yeah, it's definitely, they know what to aim for, I guess. And yeah, Europe is a little bit more complicated, as you can see here. So I probably could have laid this out a bit better, but it happens. But yeah, it looks like, if I'm correct, I will be playing the winner of Stefan and Mara, because four of us have it by me, Blinky, and Constance Debre. And then yeah, Kratzu Clement to go against Blinky, Harry or Lenley to go against Constance, Captain Pan to go against Debre. And then the winner of these two games, like me versus Stefan or Mara, and then Blinky versus Kratzy or Clement, play each other then. And then the loser of that goes to this, and you get guaranteed 5 points if you lose this game. And then you get guaranteed 25 points if you win this game. And yeah, so I mean, it's a bit unfortunate to be in fourth because, I mean, of course, Constance and Debre are also hard to beat, but Blinky is extremely hard to beat. So it's a bit unfortunate to be in fourth, but it's fine. Like, one could argue that if you needed 25 points from this major, being in sixth is better than being in fourth. Because being in sixth is where captain is, and you play Debre and then Constance, and if you beat both of them, then you get to 25, but you have to beat Blinky to get to the 25 or the 40. Which, that's just the way seeding goes, I suppose. But yeah, I'm like, if I win my first game, I'm basically guaranteed to the World Cup, because I think the plus 5 points is probably enough to guarantee things, but maybe not. Haven't done the exact maths. But in the next 4 tabs of the spreadsheet, I have some scenarios. So this is the worst case APAC and Americas, followed by, so like these are the standings before everything. Then these are the standings like before worst case, like, okay, well, these are all the befores, and then this is the worst case scenarios. So it's Lero getting 40 is the worst case, or, well, there's a few worst case, but this is an example of worst case. So by worst case, I mean the most number of people that can possibly pass me. So I guess if we go back to this, right, it's like best case is basically like Spaghetti or Gingy get 25 points, if you get me. And then worst case is that everyone that gets 15 points is in this, everyone that gets 25 points is in this, and then everyone that gets 40 points is in this, if that makes sense. And that's kind of how I decided worst case versus best case. So, for example, Lero gets 40, Austria gets 25, Sheena gets 15, and then all of them are above me, which is not ideal because that's 3 people passing me out. And then same with Americas, hypothetically, Fao gets 40, Moo gets 25, MK gets 15, then they all pass me as well. And then 6 people have passed me. And then what that means is if the worst case EMEA also happens, which, it's unlikely for both worst cases to happen, but it's certainly possible. Don't get me wrong. But it involves a lot of upsets, and that's why we have the no upset scenario coming up later. But let's say worst case EMEA is Harrier gets 40, Captain gets 25. It doesn't matter who gets the 5 points. I just gave it to Debre, I forget why. Shout out Debray. And then 15 points for Stefan, because that would pass me as well. And then that knocks me down to 14th. And these people are above me then. And yeah, so, both worst case scenarios happening. I do not make it to the World Cup, so that's why I'm not guaranteed yet, even though I feel like I'm in a good spot. But let's say worst case America's APACs happen, and then the best case EMEA happens, I still end 11th. Because best case EMEA is nobody passes me, because Stefan gets +5, doesn't pass me. Deborah gets +15, doesn't pass me. Consus, well, doesn't pass me as in is already passed me. But the interesting thing to note is that the best case EMEA is the same as no upsets happening. So Blinky wins because he's first seed, Consus comes second because he's second seed, Debray comes third because he's third seed, and I'm assuming I get no points and Stefan gets fourth, even though he's fifth seed. But that would, so the worst case America's APAC, I can still make it to thing, is like the copium, I suppose, which is definitely nice to think about. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this specific sheet, but you kind of get what I'm saying. So it's like, I don't want the worst case to happen, but if the worst case happens, I can still get no points and make it if I just get lucky. And I guess a way to view it is if one... Okay, so if the worst case America's Apex happens, then I can only have one less than the best case EMA happen to actually make it to the World Cup, is what I'm saying. So let's say, I don't know, Captain got 15 instead of Debray, then Captain would be above me as well, but I'm still 12th then. So it's like, you get me. I would still be fine in that regard. And then, yeah, we will look at best case APAC and Americas. This is the more, it's a bit optimistic because it basically involves almost every upset happening except for the ones that I don't want to happen. So, yeah, you basically need Radu to get 40 points, which, he is the best player in Americas or according to the World League standings. So it's not too unlikely, of course, if that's not an upset for him to get first. Oscar or Sheena to get 40, or I think Lero as well technically could have gotten 40. Just one of the top 3 APAC to get the 40, or maybe even... Actually, wait. Yeah, one of the top 3 I think to get the 40 is what I need. And then, as I said earlier with this, if Spaghetti gets 25, he doesn't pass me, so therefore best case is Spaghetti gets 25, and Feneb gets 15, because Feneb does not pass me with 15 either. And then Orlando doesn't pass me with 25, Gingy doesn't pass me with 15. So basically it means that these 4 got points and didn't pass me, and only Oscar really passed me because Radu was already ahead of me. So best case scenario, only one person passes me from both regions combined, which is kind of crazy to think about. It's possible, but yeah, not too unlikely because it involves, MK and Moo not getting points. It involves Sheena and Leo not getting points at their second and third seeds. So you'd expect one of them to probably get points, of course. What else do I have to say about that? I think that's that for this tab. But then if we look at... So if the best case happens, and then the worst case EMA happens, I'm still 9th, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, if this happens, I am so unbelievably fine. Worst case EMA, I still have 3 extra things to go with. So the way you can view that is if I get 3 worse, if it's 3 worse than the best case in terms of people passing me, so let's say 3 people pass me that aren't these 2, so let's say MK, Moo, and Sheena pass me, then worst case EMA I still make it, is what I'm saying, because I can only go down 3 more. I've got a 3 cushion, and then if both are best case, I end in 6th, which it's a pretty good case to be in. I mean, maybe there's actually I don't think you can get better than 6th there. But yeah, it would be nice, but I don't think I'm getting 6th seed. Actually, as I was saying, I'm not sure what the bracket would be like. Yeah, I haven't thought about the World Cup brackets, but I guess it's 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15. So I'm not sure where the seeding would be, but I think 6 would be pretty good seeding wise. But that is that. And then if we look at no upset, Americas plus APAC. So in theory, this is the singular most likely event, but it's not likely to happen at the same time. So this is Radu wins, Sheena wins, MK second, Oscar second, Moo third, Lero third. And this, I think, is This results in 6 people being ahead of me, when the worst case scenario was 7 people being ahead of me. So it's like slightly better than the worst case scenario. But as I said, it's the most likely individual scenario, but it's not the most likely scenario. It's not likely, is what I'm saying, because you'd expect at least one upset to happen. So for example, let's say, I don't know, the third place game is currently Lero getting 15 points, but let's say Lero is playing Eamon in the third place game. And then, wait, actually, no, Eamon doesn't work. Let's say, wait, does Eamon work? Wait, he does work. Yeah. I'm trolling. So let's say Lero is playing Eamon in the third place game, but then Eamon beats Lero. Then it's like Eamon gets up to 73 points, which doesn't pass me. So then only, one last person passed me, and I'm up to 9th now. And if we look at the worst case EMEA, after the no upset case, I'm in 13th. But this is so much. What am I doing? So I'm in 13th then, and let's say, Eamon got the points instead of Lero, then worst case EMEA, I'm actually in 13th, or 12th rather, and I'm made it to the World Cup. And then best case EMEA is 11th. Wait, is that right? Wait. Should it not be? How's it 11, 13? Wait. That seems wrong. Wait a second here. Have I done something wrong? Wait. I'm confused. Wait. What mistake have I made? Wait. Maybe there's no mistake. Wait. Am I trolling? I don't know. Maybe there's no mistake, but yeah, basically this gives me like a one. I basically need one of Blinky, Consis, or Debris to get points to make it, and then the worst case doesn't happen. The second worst case happens. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for. Like that. Like let's say hypothetically, Eamon beats Lero in the third place game. Then that's really good for me. It guarantees me to the World Cup. So if you look at the plausible hopium, this is like the this is kind of what I mean with the Eamon getting the 15 instead of Lero, and Fau getting 15 instead of Mu, because then both of them don't pass me, and then it means that Mu and Lero didn't pass me either, which then means that worst case EMA I go to 11th because this is 4 people ahead of me in APAC and Americas, and then only 3 people can pass me, so that's 7, and there's currently 3 above me, so that's 10, and then I'm 11th. Do I have anything else to say about that? I'm not sure. And then best case, it's 8th, but yeah, the best case and most probable case are the same as I said earlier. Also have to say, so yeah, this is I guess this is like this is kind of what I'm hoping for, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Eamon. It could be Feneb, it could be Spaghetti, or it doesn't have to be Fau. It could be Gingy, it could be Orlando. That get 15. So this it's kind of it goes back to what I was saying with the it's like the most probable scenario is no upsets, but the most likely actual outcome is probably where one of you have to think about is it more likely that Mu gets 15 points, or is it more likely that Fau, Gingy plus Orlando get 15 points? Or I guess I should say Radu, MK plus Mu, or Fau, Gingy, or Orlando getting 15. They're like the 2 scenarios. So yeah, basically what I'm trying to say with this yap is that I'm looking at a pretty good spot, I would say. Like I will probably know if I'm guaranteed or not by May 19th. I'm not even sure. I should probably know when this is. May 25th, or May 18th, I guess. Well, I can know by May 18th in theory if the best case scenario happens, but I'll definitely know by May 25th what I need. But I basically need to hope for that the worst case scenario doesn't happen, or else I could just win the EMEA major. But I'd like to have no pressure going into it, of course. What else do I have to say? I guess I can talk about the World League itself. Okay, probably just cut, but my thoughts on the overall World League now. I guess burnout and such is a topic to be discussed. I know Ocean Man made a video covering his experience, and it was a good watch where he talked about the just the overall experience with like scheduling and stuff. Scheduling, like it's a bit rough, 21 weeks, especially when you can't take a week off, like for no good reason. Like you have to. We were given like a week or two to like give them 3 weeks where we didn't want to play games, and I picked my exam weeks. But like in theory, for someone that goes outside a little bit more than me, that might not have been too good for them because it definitely, it's a bit limiting. It's like the biggest problem with the World League, and it's a bit like you could make the comparison to like let's say people playing in England's Premier League, but like they're making millions and they've got like the same kind of schedule as us. I guess where like you can't do anything on these days and you can't really pick when. I mean, we could pick 3 weeks, which I guess you probably can't do in the Premier League, but you get what I'm saying. It's like a lot of commitment where you can't do things with your weekends, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Which wasn't the biggest thing for me, but I guess that's like the biggest flaw with the 21-week system. Because I know we do get paid for like the plus 50 per win, but unless like I mean I don't even know what that is for me, 27, so it's 1,350 I guess, which is it's a decent amount of money. I'm not trying to flex, but like for like me, like I'm playing for like the major and stuff, but like or like to go to the World Cup and such, like that's the reward for me, I guess. Like let's say someone who's like more middle of the pack and isn't sure of if they're going to make it. I mean, I wasn't sure either, but I was hoping. But it's like it's very like unmotivating, I guess, to commit 21 weeks of like most people are in like college and stuff, so it's like do you want to commit 21 weekends while you're in college to maybe go get a free trip to Sweden, like plus €1,000 or whatever, maybe. It's like it's obviously nice to be paid to play is what I'm trying to say, but like at the same time I can understand why they might not do it in future and why other people might not do it in the future. What else is there to say about that? Yeah, because it's also just like burnout and stuff, and it's also like harder to practice, I guess. Because when I was practicing for the World Cup, even though my World Cup performance wasn't too good, like what I was doing was like in the months beforehand, I was playing countries. So I was like playing like a week of Brazil, a week of Russia, or not Russia, but like a week of Indonesia, a week of India, a week of USA, etc., etc. Um, but the problem with that for the World League, you can't really do that because you have to constantly stay warm. You can't just play Brazil for a week because if you've got a game that weekend, then you're going to do bad on the world map. So it kind of limits what you can do, I guess, in terms of practice. Like you have to constantly stay warm. You have to be playing your best every weekend, which is not ideal. Definitely, it also like takes a bit of fun out of the game, I guess, because let's say I randomly wanted to, like I don't know, because like when I think the World Cup, like I just have this random like thing of okay, I'm bored today. I want to play Kazakhstan for a few hours. But if I do that in the World League, let's say I do that like the day before the World League, it's like I can't just like that's gonna have a bigger impact on my World League performance than playing Kazakhstan a month before the World Cup because you don't have to constantly be keeping warm or keeping up with like world map geoguessr stuff when you have when you have one World Cup game in a month's time or 2 months time. You have time to prepare other things. So it's like it's hard to prepare, I guess, or to get better at the game when you just of course staying warm, you are getting better at the game, but you can't become better at like focused things. Like I couldn't play Brazil for a week because then I would lose my I would lose the games that weekend if everything in my head is just like if I think every Colombia location looks like Brazil or every Mexico location looks like Brazil because all I'm seeing is Brazil for the entire week, that's not a good plan. But if I have the World Cup coming up, I can do let's say 2 months before the World Cup, I can do a week of Brazil, then a week of Mexico, then a week of USA, and then a week of Canada. Let's just say I pick those 4 countries. And then the next month, I can do the keeping warm process for the World Cup, where, I'm learning all world map stuff. I'm, picking up vibes to everything. I'm remembering that every country exists and it's not just the 4 countries I was playing. So it's like, it's nice to like, it feels like you have more flexibility with what you can play, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Um, which is obviously a benefit. And that's like, you almost feel like trapped in a box where you can't play what you want to play. as much as you might want to play it. Because while I was playing some Canada this week to play against FAO, and I was playing some Brazil when I had Orlando and Skill Issue coming up, and Australia for Feneb and Lero, etc., etc., it's like it's not the same freedom that I would have. And what I kind of like about GeoGuessr is like, if I'm bored, I can just like pick some random tiny country and like try and learn some random roads in it, and like that will help me. Like that's useful for the World Cup, but it's not useful for the World League because all your time in the World League should be spent on keeping warm, I feel. But like that's like maybe that's like not correct, but it feels correct that you shouldn't do, you know, random countries or whatever. Which is like I think that's what caused burnout for a lot of people, myself partially included. I mean, I don't think I felt the burnout that much, but like I definitely, I definitely think I did better at the start of the World League than at the end of it. Overall. Um, what else do I have to say about the World League? Also, like, yeah, because like there's like weeks when you're sick that you don't really like reschedule unless you've got like a very good reason. Like, because MK tried to reschedule and they didn't let him, but then someone else was. But I think they just like changed their stance on rescheduling after the MK incident or something. Um, so it's like I was after hearing the MK thing, I was like, okay, I'm sick this weekend, but like they didn't let MK do it, so I'm not going to try and reschedule. I also don't want to make other people have to reschedule their games against me. So it's like, it's a bit rough because I mean I feel like I have some I don't know, I feel like I just don't have an immune system, so I get sick a lot. Which it could happen on the day of the World Cup, which of course is a concern. But when it happened like 2 or 3 weeks over the course of the World League, it feels a bit rough to have that be an impact, I suppose. Um, if I don't. I mean, I guess like where I'm at now, I'm happy with where I ended. I don't think it could have went any better. But like, if there's a world where I wasn't sick against Oscar, and then I got more points against Oscar, and I didn't, what are the days was I sick? I was sick against Five today, so let's say I 3-0'd Five and I 3-0'd Oscar, and then suddenly I'm on the same points as Debray, and I beat him in the head to head. So then suddenly, like, you get me, like, it's like it would suck to have like days when you're sick or like you weren't able to play a bunch of GeoGuessr to keep warm because I had a university assignment due 1 week or whatever, which I did have this week. I did have something due on Friday before the FAO game. What else is there to say about burnout and such? I mean, I think that's most of what I have to say about the World League. There's also like, I mean, I said it with this here, like the NMPC, like if they're doing another one, they need to make NMPC every single game, like be played every single time. I mean, my NMPC win rate, okay, like 7 to 9 is fine. But like for people like Lenley or Lero or Zigzag, or Kratsu, like there's a few people where their NMPC is, it would have gotten them a lot more points. Like if NMPC mattered every single game, Oscar is definitely above Sheena, right? Because his NMPC win rate is higher than Sheena's NMPC win rate. So it's like it's probably more fair to have it that way, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So that's one thing. And I guess there's also the question of I think I preferred the World League to EMEA regionals though last year, but I also don't like the fact that I can get fifth in the World Cup, like in the World League, and I'm still not guaranteed to make it to the World Cup, which is like, if you're going to have a 40 game sample size or a 39 game sample size or a 37, 38, 36, depending on, what happened. But if you're going to have that, I feel like after a 37 game sample size, if you get fifth, you should guarantee make the World Cup. It's like, it just seems very unfair that you can be the fifth best player with a sample size of 37 and you just have one bad day at the major, so you don't get any points, and then a bunch of people pass you, It's like, I don't know, it's a bit unfair. And then there's also the aspect of, like, let's say APAC, right, where the next highest APAC person is Sheena Oscar. It's like, I can't stop them from getting 40 points by playing against them, but they can get 40 points from a major that I'm not playing at and then pass me. Which, like, it's like, I don't know, it's like, majors are fun, and there's definitely something to be said that your performance on a LAN environment is important for qualification to the World Cup. But you also have to reward people that do well in the 37 game sample size. Like, I don't know, it's like, do you do like a separate, like, do you do an event where the top 8 from the World League, like, do you do one event where top 8, like, you do a World League event, then you do a bunch of majors. So let's say top 8 from the World League just make it to the World Cup instantly. And then you hold 4 majors, where top 2 from each major, or like top 3 from 3 majors or something, I don't know, make it to the World Cup. It's like, I think that system's better. Like, I just don't think that the World League standing should be affected by, you know, the majors, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But maybe I'm biased because, I did good in the World League, so I think I should be rewarded for it. Maybe I would feel differently if I was like 13th in the World League. Because, then, the majors are important for me. But yeah, I don't know, it just seems a bit illogical to me to be 5th and not be guaranteed. Like 37 game sample size versus, the 3 best of 5s that I'm going to play, or the maximum of 3 best of 5s that I'm going to play at the EMEA major. It's like, like, you can get 40 points from 3 best of 5s, but you can get only 103 from 38 best of 3s. Like, I don't know. The math doesn't really math, I feel. It just doesn't make sense. And yeah, what else do I have to say? I mean, this video is probably like over an hour long at this point. I should probably wrap it up. But I guess I can give a brief channel update because I've got exams coming up at the start of May. I'm going to try and keep daily uploads. Hopefully, I'll have a daily challenge at least every day. I'll try and have, a regular video every day as well, but we'll see. And then the exams will be finished on the 7th of May. So then after that, I'll be preparing for the World Cup and the majors. Well, majors and then World Cup. But I guess like soon after the exams, I might know if I'm auto qualified, depending on the best case scenario happening or whatever. And then let me know, I guess, if you want to see a road to regional series where I play everyone in best of 5s beforehand. It's a bit unfortunate because I don't really want to be recording them while my exams are going on, but it's like there's 10 days after my exams before the majors start, right? Actually, I guess I technically do have time, right? Where am I looking? Here. So my exams end on the 7th, I think, or maybe 8th. So then, yeah, I guess I have 16 days to get out 12 videos, which is technically possible, I suppose. But yeah, I guess I could do it. And then I've got, 2 or 3 weeks to get out the 12 EMEA. So yeah, I guess I probably will do that. And maybe I'll play against the open major people as well on the channel just to have some good content. So I think they were overall enjoyed the last time, the Road to the World Cup series. You get to like meet everyone, you get to talk to everyone, get to just see how they play. Yeah, think it's fun. Getting to talk to everyone was nice before meeting them, and there's like a lot of new faces. Like, I mean, let's look at new faces. So going to majors, who's new? Stefan, captain. I think I played Mu before, right? Sheena, yes. Austria. Harrier, I think I did. Andorra. Kratzu, I did. Clement, not yet. Lero, I did. Lenley, I did. Fau. Pan is new. Fenib is new. And I think everyone else is the same. But yeah, it's like, it's nice to talk to everyone. So I will probably do that. Do I have anything else to say? Bro, this is such a long video. I think that is it. Yeah, I mean, I will try and keep the daily uploads, as I was saying, and yeah, make sure you stay up to date with the open major stuff. These are the standings. Mike, can I see this? Do I have to be signed in to see this? Maybe I do. It'll be up on a Jules video soon. I put it up with. There's no way. Okay, it's fine. But yeah, I guess that will be it for the video. Make sure to, I mean, thanks for all the support, I should say. But yeah, hopefully I can perform well at the majors. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Bye bye, and peace.